How's it going, guys? I'm Connor from Running Warehouse, and today we are here with Hayden Hawks, pro HOKA trail runner. And today we are going to be diving in deep on their newest trail shoe, the HOKA Speedgoat 5. Now, the Speedgoat series has been around for years. It's kind of been that classic workhorse trail shoe, and I know it's something that you've used since the beginning. Give us a rundown on how you got started with this shoe and how it's kind of progressed to where we are today.
Yeah, the Speedgoat series has always been my go-to shoe. I mean, I use it for training, I use it for racing on all different types of terrain. You know, I live in the desert, but I'm close to the mountains. And so I'm training on everything. You know, I'm training in mountains that are similar to the Alps, but I'm also training on really fast desert terrain. And I use the Speedgoat for both. It responds well on any type of terrain you want to use it on. You know, I first got started with the Speedgoat because of the Speedgoat 50K. You know, I'm a big Carl Meltzer fan, and the shoe is named after him. He's a Utah legend. And that's kind of how I first got, you know, started with the shoe. I said, you know, I'm going to use this shoe because Carl uses this shoe. And it's became my staple shoe, you know, my go-to shoe for everything. I love the shoe. I've won many races in the shoe. And it's my favorite shoe out there.
Yeah, and it's a highly cushioned shoe that has kind of had a similar philosophy over the years, but small changes from the 3 to the 4. And now with the 5, I feel like it does retain a lot of those core philosophies, but there are some small changes. And I think maybe we first start off with the midsole, because that's really kind of the magic with this shoe. And we've got a lot of stack height underfoot, nearing on 40 millimeters. It's just a lot of cushioning. Give me your first thoughts on what this cushioning felt like and maybe how it's different than the last version.
Yeah, I would say, you know, if you loved the Evo Speedgoat and you loved the Speedgoat 4, you're going to love this shoe because it's a mix of both. You know, HOKA's brought the Evo and the Speedgoat 4 together and made the Speedgoat 5. The cushioning is very responsive, similar to the Evo, I would say. And I mean, it's fast. Like, you can go out, you can run PRs in this shoe, you know, you can chase Strava segments, whatever it is that you're trying to do, this shoe will get it done. You know, I love it. I've worn the Evo Speedgoat for years, but I've done a lot of my training in the Speedgoat 4. Kind of, I guess the Evo was more my race shoe. The Speedgoat 4 was my training shoe. And I'm happy that HOKA brought them together because now I have one shoe to do both.
Yeah, I think we both kind of were in agreement that Evo Speedgoat, it kind of had a little bit more of a responsive feel. And with version 4, I almost felt like it was great for those daily training, but it was just missing that little bit of pop. Now with the 5, we've got a little bit more lively of an underfoot experience. When you're moving a little bit faster, the shoe just seems to respond better. And of course, you still have just that massive amount of protection. And I think really probably upwards of 100 miles, you're not going to have any issues with just the sheer amount of protection underfoot.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I have used this shoe to win 50K races, 30K races, but also 100-mile races. You know, it'll do everything. And that's what's so cool about the Speedgoat. You know, it's very responsive, but it's also cushioned enough to last for 100 miles, 200-mile races if you want to.
Now, when we talk about cushioning, that's obviously very important for trail shoes. You want to have that protection to go those ultra-marathon distances. But another key factor of a trail shoe, and specifically with the Speedgoat, is how nimble it feels for the high stack height. Can you talk about how it feels specifically in version 5 and maybe how technical of a trail you took this shoe on?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken this on very technical trails, you know, trails in the Alps, you know, trails in the Canary Islands that are very, very technical, but it's mixed, you know, like the Canary Islands is very dry. In the Alps, it's very wet. And this shoe, you feel confident in this shoe, descending any type of terrain, whether it be wet, whether it be loose and dry terrain. And I think that's because, you know, they engineered the upper a little bit here on this shoe. It's more of like a knit mesh mix, and it holds the foot really, really well. You know, you don't feel like it's loosening as you go on in the run, and that makes your foot feel secure. It makes it feel confident, especially on the downhills.
And going a little bit deeper into this upper, I know breathability is a big factor for you, especially when you maybe hit some wet areas, the shoe gets wet. I know you don't like your shoe to get heavy. What was the breathability like in this shoe?
The breathability is great. I've taken this, you know, across water crossings when it's raining outside, and it drains really well. It also breathes really well in hot climates, you know, and that's very, very important because you don't want your feet to get hot, you know, in the middle of a race. And so I think they've done a really good job with the upper, and I feel really confident in any type of weather, any type of terrain with this shoe.
Yeah, and just getting it on my foot and trying it out, I felt secure, I felt locked down. That's obviously what you want in a trail shoe, but at the same time, some of the past versions have kind of been hit or miss for me. Some fit really well, some maybe didn't fit my feet quite right. I felt like the fit in version 5 is really, really dialed in. There's just that perfect amount of space, especially in the toe box. It allows my toes to splay a little bit, gives a little bit of the room, but overall, my foot just felt really snug, really secure, and really kind of at one with the shoe.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in past versions, they've maybe felt a little clunky, you know, maybe a little heavy on the foot. But this shoe, it feels light on the foot, but it also hugs the midfoot really, really well, but gives you enough room in the toe box that you don't feel like it's scrunching the feet too much. And so that's what I love about this shoe and that's, again, that confidence. You know, you wanna have the ultimate confidence in your shoe. You wanna feel secure in the shoe, but you also wanna feel fast and light. And I think they've done a great job with this shoe.
Yeah. Well, finishing this shoe off, the last part we're gonna talk about is the outsole, the traction component, and this is gonna be that last piece that really is maybe the most important part. Really with this shoe, the cushioning and the outsole are both very important, but traction-wise, how did you feel it performed on different surfaces? What did you feel like it kind of was better on? What were your thoughts on the outsole?
I mean, it's good on every surface, I think, but they have, you know, reinforce that outsole a bit. It still has the Vibram sole on it there. That's gonna give you traction on any type of terrain, but they've beefed it up just a little bit. I think the lugs maybe are a little bit bigger, the pattern's a little different, and so you're getting a little bit better traction, and you can feel it. I mean, you can definitely feel it on the downhills. I've been running it, you know, in and out here in San Luis Obispo, and on some different types of terrain, you know, and trails. I've been doing some, you know, steep, loose downhills, and I feel very confident. You know, I feel like I can fly down the downhills, and also, you know, it responds well on the flat and on the pavement and on every terrain. And, you know, and that's what's great about this shoe is because ultras have all different types of terrain. You know, you look at a course like Western States. Western States has pavement, it has dirt, it has fire road, it has single track, it has everything. And this Speedgoat 5 will take it all on, and it will perform, you know, at its best.
Yeah, that Vibram Mega Grip is super sticky, has all the traction you need for pretty much any type of terrain. The Speedgoat series kind of comes back to that Mega Grip each year because it is a compound that stands out over the competition. And I think when we talk about the nimbleness of the shoe with the midsole, it really also comes down to the outsole working really well to kind of create that perfect balance of traction, nimbleness, and just the ideal shoe for pretty much, again, like any type of trail run, whether you're going short, whether you're going long, has the traction to do the job. The one final part of the outsole I want to talk about is flex grooves. We do have a slightly different pattern. What would you say the flexibility is like in this shoe? Because it is going to be a high stack height, so you're not going to have maybe that super flexible experience, but how did you feel this shoe felt from a flexibility standpoint and a ride standpoint over that last version?
Yeah, I feel like it's more flexible. I really do. I feel like they've improved the Speedgoat every single year. You know, this is definitely an improvement from the last one. I would say it does feel more flexible on the foot. The Mega Grip, you know, sometimes people can be a little nervous when you have a full plate on the bottom, that it's gonna be too hard on the feet, but it doesn't feel that way. It does feel like it has a little bit of flexibility, and the cushion and the Mega Grip work really well together to give you a really comfortable feel, a really plush feel, you know, and that's what HOKA's going for, right? That plush feel, and you get that in this Speedgoat 5.
Yeah, the softness of the Speedgoat is really what I like for those longer runs, and with a trail shoe, you don't want something too soft, you don't want something too mushy, because you want to have kind of that perfect balance of just that nice squishing, but also that pop off and that explosiveness. And I think at the end of the day, the Speedgoat 5 does that and really has that perfect balance, at least for me, for long distance trail runs. And I think kind of rounding this all together, I want to come back to you on what your end use for the shoe is. I know we've talked about it being so great for so many different trail runs, but what would you say the ideal use for the shoe is? What are you going to bring this out for the most part in your training?
Yeah, I'm mostly gonna run on trails in this shoe, of course. You know, it is a trail shoe. The bulk of my mileage will be in the Speedgoat 5. You know, I will use the Tecton X for workouts, for maybe race day, but the bulk of the mileage, you know, most of the volume that I'm doing is going to be in the Speedgoat 5. It is my everyday trainer. You know, it is my go-to when I just need to get out the door and get some miles in. And that's what the Speedgoat 5 is best used for me.
And you've mentioned that the Tecton X might be your shoe for Western states. What would you potentially use this shoe on a race day for? Is there a certain type of ultramarathon that you would tend to lean towards a Speedgoat over the more speedy Tecton?
Yeah, so after Western States this year, I'm running CCC, you know, which is one of the UTMB races. You know, so I think this shoe will be my race shoe for CCC. So I would say more of those mountain races. I mean, you can use it for anything. There's gonna be a lot of people using this shoe at Western States, and it works great on a course like that. But for me, it works great on those mountain courses, a little bit more technical, something where I need a little bit more traction, but I'm gonna be out there for a long time. And I think the Speedgoat 5 works perfect for that.
So there you have it. That was our rundown on the all-new HOKA Speedgoat 5. Me and Hayden have both gotten quite a few miles in this shoe, and I know I'm personally excited to continue getting the miles in. The Speedgoat 5 really takes all the philosophies of the old Speedgoat series and kind of innovates to make it the best Speedgoat to date. If you're looking to get this shoe on your feet, it's available now. You can find it here at Running Warehouse.